All right, Ultra Noops Nation, my name is Reid Nelson. I'm joined by Luke Hanlon. This is a game that we're going to broadcast live. We don't have a name for it yet, but the Pilots and the Mustangs are coming up right now. This is a potential playoff matchup. Actually, it's a likely playoff matchup, which we'll talk plenty about during the broadcast. But, since we're doing a little pregame show here, talk about what this game means, since these guys could be meeting again in 2 months in a series.
Well, they're both, 7-3 or?
Yes.
There? Yeah, so, winner of this game, obviously it's huge. Not only do they get the game up in the standings, but the head-to-head record, that'll be huge. The Pilots won the first matchup, so right now we have the Pilots with the advantage. So a Mustangs win would really kind of shake things up a little bit. I'm interested to see how these two teams are going to match up with each other, specifically who's going to guard whom. Both teams have big size. Both teams have athleticism and multiple scoring options. So despite them both being strong defensive teams, I think this could be a high-scoring game and a very physical game.
Thank you, Luke. We will be right back with Pilots v. Mustangs. All right, Ultra Noops Nation, we are here. The Dream League Insider crew, Luke Hanlon, Reid Nelson, will be providing play-by-play coverage tonight for the 6:30 matchup, Pilots v. Mustangs. We have big plans for this show moving forward, including live broadcasts, multiple cameras, multiple everything. But for now, we're going to start it off pretty simple with just some good old-fashioned play-by-play commentary for what should be a great game. So, DeJuan Grant down low early to Seth Yonker for 2. Seth Yonker now returning after a couple of week absence, I believe. But they need him definitely. As Juman Davis banks in a 3, the Mustangs take an early lead, 3-2. The Mustangs, I can't see their bench quite yet. But starting for the Mustangs, John Christensen, Seth Yonker, Joe Drapko, Zach Bobick, and DeJuan Grant. They are going right to left on your screen. That was the Pilots, in their home blues. From left to right on your screen, the Mustangs, Casey Ehrenberg, Juman Davis, Keith Crabbe, Mike Franklin, Dustin DuPont. They are in their road whites, home whites, whatever you want to put it. Okay, Luke, talk about Seth Yonker's return tonight. Last week, they played pretty good without him. But talk about what his return now means to this squad.
I think it's pretty obvious. He's their best player. He's their go-to guy on offense. He is their leader. We saw it where we know Izzy drafted him as a guy that was going to show up every week and lead this team. It hasn't happened as he wasn't here last week, but he's been dealing with an injury. Hasn't been quite himself in the last few games, and the evolution of Joe Drapko and the addition of DeJuan Grant helped that a lot as Yonker makes the 3 there. But you see, he opens up this offense. He creates space, and he's also going to be the guy that they go to help create space for DeJuan and for Joe and for Troy and even Alan Arlt when he's open for 3. So he just really adds a huge element offensively that you can't have from anyone else on this team.
Luke Hanlon multitasking tonight. Oh, nice runner by Casey Ehrenberg. On both the camera and on the color commentary. I don't think they make Chris Collinsworth do camera as well. Okay, Seth almost went for the first 7, not able to finish, but a heads-up play there by Mike Franklin, and the Mustangs will retain possession.
I think Michael Franklin's sock selection tonight is very interesting.
In the NFL, I'd fine him if I could, because those are hideous. Combine that with his shoes, and you've just got a straight up mess. No other way to put it. Now I know Gunfair's here. He's not on the bench right now, but he is here. So we'll see if we see him. Alan Arlt is the only Pilot on the bench right now.
I did see Troy Martin is here. I think he's back getting changed right now, so he's running a little late, but he should be here within the next 2 minutes.
Sometimes when I'm put on the spot, I have trouble thinking, who's the 8th Pilot? Yeah. I can't think of who the 8th Pilot is. And right now, Peyton Dixon. Peyton Dixon, the 8th Pilot. Correct? Oh, yeah, I believe he's out of town. Curtis Hughes and John Goodrich on the bench for the Mustangs. And the score, as you can see, which is very nice about doing it here, is that you can see the score as we go on here tonight. The guest on the left-hand side of the scoreboard is the Pilots, or are the Pilots, or should be the Pilots. We'll see if they're actually doing it. Home team should be in white, because we're going to get a foul here on, I believe, Zach Bobick. 45, Zach Bobick picks up the foul as Alan Arlt subs in for Bobick. Bobick coming off of I believe, a gallbladder removal. Luke, do you have a gallbladder in your body right now?
I still currently have a gallbladder. I currently have my appendix, so I cannot relate with those kind of injuries. I
was just going to ask if you also have your appendix. I also have my appendix. Dustin DuPont with the foul there. Alan Arlt I would give him a Jersey Tech right now if he wouldn't tuck in his jersey. I believe he's the only player on the court. Of course, DeJuan Grant also with Jersey Tech. And Joe Drapko. So right now, the Pilots are failing miserably to tuck in their jerseys. But that's okay. Actually, it's not okay. Okay, inside out from Drapko to DeJuan Grant, and that is what the Pilots were missing last week, is that big offensive rebounding presence as they were out-rebounded 18-2. Yonker now with all 7 points for the Pilots. Can the Pilots maintain this?
Well, now we see, as I was talking about the impact that Seth Yonker would bring, I completely forgot about the rebounding because, without Bobick, it was bad last week, as we saw. Keith Crabbe with the three that he drains. Nice shot there by Keith. I think I would not be surprised if Yonker has a dominant game, especially if there's Glenn Flair, as I'm speaking. So once he comes back in the game, it's going to make it harder for Yonker to get these inside baskets, but then he can drift outside and also dominate there. So, I'm not surprised Seth's getting out to a hot start.
Okay, we're going to have our first free throws of the game here by Drapko as he's fouled by Casey Ehrenberg. Trying to be the first non-Pilot not named Seth Yonker to score in this game. Thoughts on DeJuan Grant's shoe selection? Those Filas are those outdate you.
Yeah, I have. He's been wearing those all season. I can't remember the last time I wore Filas, if I ever did. I know my dad probably did back in the mid-'90s, but it's just very rare you see either Jordans or Nikes or sometimes Adidas, but I'm impressed. I like the throwbacks.
Trivia question for you. Now, I'm going to phrase this because I don't know the exact answer, but I think I have it. Who was the big name spokesperson for Fila in the 90s?
Allen Iverson?
Incorrect. Allen Iverson was Reebok. The answer shoe obviously was huge for them. Grant Hill, really, I believe, is the correct answer, and I could probably confirm with DeJuan. He would know. But I'm pretty sure Grant Hill was a Fila guy. Grant Hill of Detroit Pistons fame. Ooh, Keith Crabbe with the nice floater. His fourth point of the game, and the Mustangs open up a 12-9 lead. Of course, on this end of the court, Joe Drapko made both free throws. Now Seth Yonker is going to go to the free throw line in an attempt to make both of his. How was your weekend, sir?
It was pretty good. Just went to a few get-togethers with some friends. Nothing too fancy. Last night we had me and my roommates did a grill out. Had a bonfire, enjoying the nice weather. So can't complain. How about yourself, Reid?
Very good, very good. Just doing some wedding planning. So Glenn Fair is subbed into the game. I gotta look at his earrings. They look like emeralds. They look green. So I believe he's matching right now. Which, if he did that on purpose, totally bad ASS right there. Okay, Yonker hits the first and misses the second. 10-12. Pilots trail the Mustangs here early. Now, you made note of this in the pregame show about, a tiebreaker situation. Oh, nice make by Keith Crabbe. Gets the foul. I've been told, just kind of going off on a tangent here, I've been told that Keith Crabbe's pickup game is a lot better than what you see here on a regular night, and he is showing that right now.
I'm not too surprised. You can tell when he goes ISO that he's got quickness. He's also strong enough where he could fend off defenders with an arm or something and maybe get away with some push here and there. I don't think he's really a dirty player at all, but he can shoot from the outside, and that creates these open lanes that he gets. And let's be honest, Allen is not going to be able to guard Keith Crabbe one-on-one.
Troy Martin into the game also with his jersey untucked. Essentially 4 for 5 now on the untucked jersey. Nice finish by Seth Yonker. Okay, so I wanted to say, but before the game, You had made note about the tiebreak scenarios, and really for a 2-3, it doesn't matter. Regardless of who finishes at 2 and who finishes at 3, who wins the tiebreaker, it's really irrelevant. Crabbe down to Glenfair, who finishes for 2. They extend their lead now to 5, 17, 12, 10 minutes, 40 seconds to go here in the first half. So really, honestly, I think this game is more... nice dish down from Jonker, and Allen is unable to finish. He will have dreams about that one tonight, I can assure you. I think it's more of a confidence thing. I think it's more of a, just a momentum thing, because in a way, nice rebound by Crabbe, and he gets fouled. He's going to go to the line to shoot too. The Mustangs lost their earlier matchup by 21. So in a way, this is an opportunity for them to say, hey, we're better than 21-point loss to the Pilots.
Yeah, I think, like you said, in the long run, there's no home court advantage here, so seeding's not going to be too much. But yeah, I mean, the Mustangs definitely want to come back and answer. I mean, that was kind of an embarrassing loss last time. It seemed like they could be a team that were going to come up the power rankings and challenge the Knights, and they couldn't beat another elite team like the Pilots. So this will go a lot and maybe give them some momentum heading into the playoffs.
And, I mean, listen, the Pilots are almost at full strength. The Mustangs are at full strength. And I said this last week. I made note of it on the podcast. When the Mustangs are a full-strength team, they are scary looking. I mean, they are so physical. And Seth Jonker, speaking of physical, Seth Jonker is going to go to the line to shoot 2. Glenfair picks up the foul there. 19-12, Mustangs lead early here. 10 minutes, 2 seconds to go here in the first half. Jonker with, I believe, 11? 10 of 12 points, now 11 of 13 points. Listen, and we've made note of this before, but I just don't think this is not a sustainable offensive flow. I mean, it's just not going to work. Am I wrong?
I think Seth can sustain it, but if they continue to just try to feed Seth the ball and have him do everything, they're not going to be able to keep up with the offensive pace of the Mustangs, as they've already put up 19 points in less than 6 minutes. Davis there with a nice 15-footer. And, when you got guys like Davis, they have Crabbe, they have other guys that can score, and the Pilots really just need to work the ball around, because they have other guys like Joe Drapko, who has the ball now.
Drapko out to Christensen. 3-and-D for Christensen. He does not foul. Mike Franklin with the nice board. You've made note of, multiple Mustangs that have, Keith Crabbe loads it from deep off. And they miss the rebound. Troy Martin and Zach Bobick are not able to corral it. Now, this is interesting here. You give them an extra possession. Are they able to capitalize? These are kind of the momentum swings that, define games. And they are able to get the ball back. Glenfair with the miss. Up to Troy Martin. Troy Martin trapped in the corner, and he's going to pick up a foul against Keith Crabbe, I believe. Ronnie calls it on 12. 1-2, 12. Jonker out of the game now.
Now it'll be interesting to know, with the 7-point deficit with Jonker out of the game, who are they going to go for scoring, and can they sustain this kind of deficit at 7 or maybe chip away at it?
Okay, so you've made note of a few. Bobick for 3. Whoa, that might be his first 3 of the season. 3-and-D. That's Zach Bobick right there. Okay, so you've made note of a couple of Mustangs that have peeked their head into the MVP race. I believe Juwan Davis was on it 1 week, Mike Franklin on it the other week. Bad turnover there from Dustin. Who is their most valuable player to them?
It's such a tough question, because they have a lot of inconsistent performers, I believe. I think Juwan Davis, DeJuan Grant puts up the 3 and he misses. Rebound by Fair. I think Juwan Davis is obviously their best scorer, and he's able to contribute that every week, but he doesn't do a whole lot of other things. I think Mike Franklin kind of all around is probably their most important player. Dustin DuPont, you can make an argument, but he's missed a few weeks. He's turnover prone, and Franklin is a guy who can score inside, outside, as he just turns the ball over there. But he defends with length, he can block, he can steal, he kind of does it all. So I'd say Franklin, but it could change a lot.
Bad turnover there by DeJuan Grant, stolen by Juwan Davis, who takes it the other way, not able to finish. He's going to pick up the foul. Going to pick up the foul on Bobick. They don't like to call, but I think it was the right one. Curtis Hughes checking into the game. Casey Ehrenberg also checking into the game for the Mustangs. This is Curtis Hughes' first trip into the game. Now, let me ask you a question, Luke. You write the game notebook every Wednesday morning. Are you going to be able to make mental notes in your head right now, even though that you're controlling the mic or the camera?
It will be difficult for this game to note down things I like and things I don't like. I'll be able to give a general overview of what happens here, but it might be a little light of this game in the like and don't like section. So please do not get upset with me, Dream League Nation.
I think they'll appreciate the fact that you're not things I don't like. 'Cause I think everybody's fearful about ending up on that list. In fact, last week, and I won't name any names, but somebody came up to you and said, hey, I'm not going to end up on the things I don't like because of this, or this, right? And you said no. All right, 23-17. Mustangs in the lead here. Now, that's the type of shot that's forced because they don't think they can get a better one. You know, it's like, hey, turnaround jumper from 12 feet. Not our best shot, but are we going to get a better one? Probably not. 23-17, Mustangs lead early here. 7 minutes, 32 seconds to go in the first half. Six seconds to go on the shot clock here. That did touch the shot clock. Rebounded by Glenn Fair. Out to DuPont for three. He misses. Curtis Hughes with the big rebound. And he is going to send it right out. And that's what Curtis Hughes does best. Just gets rebounds and causes headaches for the Pilots as Glenn Fair dishes down to Dustin DuPont in the big two. That hurts the Pilots, those types of plays.
Well, you can give credit to DuPont. You can give credit to Glenn Fair there. But like you said, Hughes, that's the biggest reason they're able to keep a possession alive. And DeJuan Grant with the turnover there. And as you can hear right next to us, Jonathan Coe, the Mustangs' GM, saying, reset, and Casey Ehrenberg there with the three to give the Mustangs an 11-point lead, the biggest of the game for them. But, Hughes, a tough guy down low, gets the rebound, kicks it back out, and gets another possession for them, and they convert. It's just good basketball all around by the Mustangs.
Okay, 28-17, as noted, is now an 11-point lead for the Mustangs. Nice turnaround by Drapko, and he makes it. Beautiful shot. Okay, Drapko's going to go to the line here to turn this into an 8-point game. 4 minutes 35. So next stoppage, let's do a quick stop and put it back on. Okay, Crabbe out of the game for the Mustangs. Drapko makes the next one. Yonker subs in for Drapko, a much-needed rest from him. In for the Pilots, Yonker, Arlt, Martin, Christensen, Grant. In for the Mustangs, Ehrenberg, Glenn Fair, Mike Franklin, Curtis Hughes, and Dustin DuPont. 8-point lead, 6 minutes, 20 seconds to go here in the first half. In what will be a game that will determine the second seed versus the third seed in what is, again, a likely first-round playoff matchup. I'd say regardless of what happens, this is very likely, and a nice, beautiful putback there by Glenn Fair as he misses his own shot, gets his own board. Yonker going to pull up from deep. Ooh, bad miss there. Again, they're forcing shots because they don't have any other options. 10-point lead now here for the Mustangs, and we're going to get a foul here. All right, inbounds here, 30-20. Mustangs in the lead. DuPont controls the point, guarded by Troy Martin. Ignores the pick, goes for the floater, makes it. That is one more shot than he made all of last week, Wednesday night's Bloomington South League. Sorry, Dustin. The lead is now 12, their largest lead of the game. Okay, now let's watch the Pilots here and see if they're able to see. I see a lot of this one-on-one stuff. Oh, beautiful shot. It's going to be a 2, though, from Alt, a long 2. Oh, nice steal by Dustin DuPont, and he's going to go in uncontested. Actually, he's going to dish it to Mike Franklin, who dunks it for a 14-point lead. Now, we saw this from the Pilots last week. Down early, but they came back late. What's their game plan heading into the end of the first half here?
I think they just have to really start to set up more plays, not just, dishing it to Seth Yonker in the post is not a bad idea. He's going to get a good position and probably a good shot out of that, even with a good defender like Fair on him. But using more than just Yonker, setting screens, off-ball screens, pick and rolls, just doing anything they can to open up space because the Mustangs are suffocating them on defense. DuPont will do that. A lot of the guys here will do it. So really just try to open up the floor more and get better shots. And
beautiful finish by Glenn Fair there. Thought he got the foul, but not. Leads up to 14.
I'd say start playing some harder defense as well. 36 points in the first half, and we still got 4.5 minutes left here. That's very unlike the Pilots.
And I'm paraphrasing here, Izzy. This is not a direct quote, but he made mention of the fact that they don't match up well with the Mustangs, and he was hoping that they would be able to avoid that first-round matchup versus them. Arlt is really struggling. He's over 3 from the field so far. He went 3 of 5 last week. He's shooting 42% on the season from the three-point line, and he's getting open looks, but he's not able to convert. We'll see if he's able to change it. Oh, bad. Almost a turnover there by Martin, who goes up and under, and I'm not sure what... I think you could put that on your things I do not like there. The Mike Franklin tip to nobody. Martin gets away with a lot of risky ball handling because he's so low to the ground. And even when, he gets in trouble, he's able to corral it on his own. As you see Michael Thomas coming into the game tonight, looking very dapper. Hopefully he grabs the right jersey as he goes back into...
Well, he's on a bye this week, is he not?
No, the Polars are not on a bye. The Generals are the one.
I apologize. I forgot about the trade that happened.
Yes, correct, yeah. There was a trade last week, which we'll talk about here in the second half. We're going to talk about both other games tonight, even though by the time you're viewing this, beautiful left hand by Joe Drapko. I just love that. Just shows me that, when he was a kid growing up, he was working on that left hand. Oh, nice steal by DeJuan Grant, and the rush is on there. Troy Martin, no numbers here. Over to DeJuan Grant, thought about the three, going to pass to Christensen, who's going to go one extra pass. Oh, beautiful movement, and we're going to pick up a foul there. Seth Yonker fouled by Curtis Hughes. Beautiful ball movement.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want of this Pilots team right now, especially in transition. Troy Martin, very smart play to hold up. He didn't have numbers, as you pointed out. Dishing out, DeJuan could have shot the three, gets it out to John Christensen. He could have shot the three, and they just keep swinging it around until you get a foul, and you put your best free throw shooter at the line. That's great offense right there.
Joined now by Mustangs coach John Coe for a little in-game interview. All right, John, you guys are up 11, 3.5 minutes to go here. Talk about your performance so far.
I really like our defensive performance so far. One of the problems that we've had in the past is allowing a lot of second chance points, but I think we're not giving them that many opportunities. I think they probably have maybe 2 offensive rebounds the whole half. And on offense, we've been pretty efficient. I mean, that one was kind of an individual play, but for the most part, we've been doing really good team basketball on the offensive end.
Knowing full well that this is a likely first-round matchup, does that change your team's mindset at all tonight?
I told them before the game that this is likely who we're going to play in the playoffs, and I wasn't really too concerned with winning the matchup, but just for more learning their tendencies and who's going to D up who and the matchups is the most important part of this game, and just learning about our opponents. I think one of the things we're trying to figure out is how our substitution is going to work with where we're matching up, because I think that's in every game. That's kind of the big issue: is do we want to push our strengths and match up? Do we want to match up with them or force them to match up with us? That's kind of what we're thinking.
Well, I'll let you get back to the game. Thank you, John. Good luck the rest of the game. All right, that was John Coe, Mustangs general manager. Talk about the job he's done so far this season. He hasn't made any trades, but he did pick up Curtis Hughes early in the season and I have to track my mind here. Who did he draft? Because he didn't draft Curtis Hughes.
Vigil?
Oh, yeah, Mike Vigil. And then John Goodrich was also added for Talonzale Thompson. So, he made a couple of minor tweaks, but if you look at it, these are not minor guys. These are big guys. And you saw John Goodrich there. He gets away with that push, 75, 80% of the time. So he went out and he got big. And I think that was sort of his plan. He saw teams like the Polars that were maybe going to play small ball. And it's working for him.
Before I even get on the additions, I will point out he has made one trade, and that was trading away the first overall pick to the Generals to move back in the draft because he didn't like his position there. He picked Glenn Fair, and Glenn Fair didn't show up for the first 4 games that they had, and they still were able to get in good position. So I think it speaks to Jonathan as a drafter. We know he drafted guys that have played together in Ultimate Hoops. He wanted to have team chemistry. He thinks that's important, and as it's shown, they all play very well together. They're a cohesive unit. And like the additions, Hughes and Goodrich are just two big guys, going to set good screens, rebound, get physical, get away with some fouls here and there. And it's good to have agitators like that. We don't see many guys like that in this league. And they know their role perfectly, and that's why they've been able to have such success here with the Mustangs.
Well, now let's look at that trade a little bit more, because he traded the 1st and the 14th selection for number 6 and 7, or 7 and 8. He got Glenn Fair, and he also got Dustin DuPont. I believe that the Generals went Miles Webb, and was it James Carr in the first?
I did not know who their second-round pick was.
Because Bronson was originally drafted by the Polar.
Yes. And I know Michael Thomas was a little later. I don't know when Brandon Johnson or Williams. They were more in the mid-rounds. I think it was Carr. Yeah, that would make sense.
So he goes and he gets Dustin DuPont, and he goes and he gets Glenn Fair. And all he needed to give up was essentially, all they did was swap evenly, 114 for 7 and 8. And honestly, it's part of the reason why you see the Generals where they are, because Miles Webb has not, listen, you and I did a redraft this week, 1-7, and he wasn't in 1-7. Now, I can almost guarantee you he's not going to be 8-14, and I would be very surprised if he'd be 15-21, which means Miles should have been, at very best, a 4th-round selection. Would you agree with that?
I was going to say, don't expect him to be in this week's episode of the podcast where we do the second round. I don't think that's really a value for him because, we've seen he's a great scorer, but he shoots too much. He takes a lot of bad shots. He settles for jumpers that he can't make. He's a 17% three-point shooter this year when he's not. If you don't include that game against the Polars where he went 7 of 13. So kind of a selfish guy. I don't know, maybe like a Carmelo Anthony-esque where he's going to get his shots and he's not going to facilitate, and it's really hurt the Generals' chances. So yeah, maybe a 3rd round kind of pick, but if he has that mentality and you can't convince him otherwise, he's not worth taking, really, almost.
So we'll see. Now, on this Thursday's podcast, we're gonna break down all the offseason movements. So we'll see if that's a guy that they decide to keep season over season. By they, I mean the Generals. Okay, 40-31. The Mustangs still in the lead now, even though it's only down to 9. DeJuan Grant almost took that nice pass down to Drapko, who's not able to finish. They're up 9, 46 seconds to go here in the first half. We don't get a chance to talk about this very much, but this is an opportunity now for a 2-for-1 if they get the shot off with under 8 seconds to go, which they do, and they aren't able to make it. So now we are in a 2-for-1 situation here for the Mustangs, which is not something that you hear talked about very much in recreational basketball games because there aren't shot clocks. So here we go. 25 seconds to go here. Yonker controls the point. 40-31. 18.5 to go. 9-point lead. Let's see if they can trim it. Troy Martin, look at how much better he looks with that tucked-in jersey. Oh, nice floater. Wasn't able to get it. They're going to have 4 seconds here. Oh, we had plenty of time. That's okay. It's better to get the shot off than not to get it off at all. So we will be back, hopefully with a halftime interview here, and then we will rejoin you for the second half. All right, Keith. Nice little first half there. Hitting some floaters, hitting some runners. Talk about your game.
I'm just out here trying to produce for the team and see who the open man is, but I'm just trying to get going, get the buckets.
You are working your ASS out. Look at how much sweat. Is this normally what you do?
These guys are big, so I got to play hard. So I'm putting everything out there. So I'm going to be sweating hard, moving my feet, moving my body, everything. 9
at halftime. What do you have to do to finish this thing out?
Just keep playing D. That's all we got to do is keep playing D.
All right, thanks, Keith. Have a wonderful game. All right, rejoining you here for the second half. 31-40. Pilots trailing the Mustangs here. Again, if you haven't heard us say this already, the likely 2-3 matchup in the postseason as Dustin DuPont's, and you can just tell Dustin DuPont is not himself. I mean, he's ginger. He just does not look normal. We made note of maybe some back problems that he was having. as they open up now a 12-point lead, tying their largest of the game. Troy Martin deep, misses it, but DeJuan Grant with the layup. You got to have a box out there. And we're going to get a foul here on Keith Crabbe. 43-31, 12-point game. Talk about the performances of both teams so far, Mr. Luke.
I think the Mustangs came out with just a much better overall plan. They have been a team-oriented kind of offense. We have seen guys like Keese and Juman do some isolation stuff here and there, but they have the talent to do that kind of thing, whereas the Pilots really need to set up open shots for their guys. Joe Dropko had a few, face-up kind of shots right away, but it's been mostly just Seth Yonker. We haven't seen Allen be able to get it. We haven't seen Troy Martin do too much offensively. They just need to get everyone else more involved. And then on the defensive side, maybe start switching off some picks because, the Mustangs are really taking advantage of these matchups, and which is not too surprising. But, with the addition of DeJuan Grant, I thought after the 21-point win last time, this would be closer.
So I have a little bone to pick. So just because the referee blows the whistle late does not make it a bad call. Now, Travis called that late. It was the right call, but it was late. And guys, they hate that doubly when officials do that. But I'd rather they just get it right. Oh, no need to call that one late. As Keese will go to the line to shoot two, he was hacked by Troy Martin. 10-point lead now. Okay, let's chat a little bit about the second and third game of this evening. The second game will take place between the Yellow Jackets and the Polars. The Polars, I can't wait to see the Polars. Mike Thomas, Ben Yelke, James Carr. Are you kidding me? This team has been completely remade. Did the Polars give up too much, essentially a second-round pick? Or, they moved from a second down to a fourth. Did they give up too much in that trade on Friday?
Well, it's interesting because they made this move to go out and try to be an elite team and, compete with the Knights and, these kind of upper echelon teams, which we've seen them be able to do. They just haven't won those games, and they want to be able to win those games. They want to be able to win the title. I think adding Michael Thomas is the biggest one here because it finally gives them a low post defender, some size to go with. James Carr and Ben Yelke are just going to be hustle guys. James Carr can bring a lot, and as can Yelke, but, they work hard. They're, hard-nosed players. The second-round pick is a little bit much, but we'll talk about it in the podcast more. Is who they can sign, and if it'll even matter too much if they lose that pick. I think it was the right move for them to make. I just don't know if it's going to get them to the peak of beating the Knights and that.
Well, and we should say that no one's really played the Knights better than them and the Mustangs who beat them. One thing to note is this: not only did they forfeit the opportunity to be able to keep a player who was taken in the second round, but they've also lost their second-round pick. So, in a way, so that second-round pick will move down to the fourth round. So not only can they not keep anyone in that round, but that pick will actually end up being a fourth-round pick, which is not the end of the world. Let's say they lose in the first round. They'll go from, let's say 13th overall or 12th overall to 24th overall. So you're moving down 12 slots, which is significant. But we've seen guys, look at Kevin Story. He wasn't even drafted. Look at Greg Wells. He wasn't even drafted. So is the draft overrated? Maybe a touch, but we will see. They will take on the Yellow Jackets, who are in a, let's call it do or die, must win. I hate to do it, but I will. Troy Martin with a beautiful steal there. And he's got no numbers. Going to throw it over to Christensen, who is going to take a big three, buries it. 45-38. The lead has now been trimmed to 7. But you know what, though? The Polars need this win to prove to themselves that, hey, you know what? We're not a team that's just going to win by 3 or 4 or lose by 5 or 6. We're going to compete in this league. So I see them coming out hard. Beautiful tip in by Mike Franklin there on the miss by Dustin DuPont. You have the Polars winning. You have the Polars winning. I have the Polars winning. Talk a little bit about that prediction.
Well, I had that before the trade, and now after the trade I feel better because it was something that I was kind of, like I said, like we both talked about, while we were discussing who was going to win, you kind of had to make the pick as like mid-sentence because we just really weren't sure. The Yellow Jackets going to come out with urgency, but now with the addition of Thomas and Carr and Yelke, I think it gives them an added element. I think I can comfortably say I believe the Polars are going to win. That obviously doesn't mean they will. But it's good that it'll set up another Thomas matchup here, Mullen and Michael, the two brothers. We've seen Mullen take advantage of that matchup most in the past. And it's just going to be interesting to watch. But I do still think I think the Polars trade reaffirms my pick in a more confident way.
So you have the Mustangs in this game, correct? And I had the Pilots.
Yes, I did have the Mustangs.
Okay, we had to reset the shot clock here. We're going 17 on the shot clock. Casey Ehrenberg into the game now for Dustin DuPont. Thursday was so long ago. I think I had the Pilots. I think you had the Mustangs. This is a good opportunity for you to gain a game on me.
Yeah, and I also had the Griffins and you have the Knights. So if that happens, all anarchy is going to break.
If the Griffins beat the Knights tonight, like you said, all heck's going to break loose. Three-pointer made by DeJuan Grant, I believe, and answered by Mike Franklin. Oh, that hurts. That hurts. The lead is now back up to 9. It was down to 6. Okay, Seth Yonker going to answer. He's short. Beautiful rebound there by Joe Drapko, who's going to put it right back up, and he makes it. The defense of the Mustangs is loosening. Let's call it loosening. Okay.
During our interview with Jonathan Coe, you heard he said the biggest thing for them was limiting second chance points, and that's just what kills them right there. Helps the Pilots get back in this game a little bit. So you want to see hard defense, and you have to box out and end possessions, or else the defensive effort is moot.
Okay, so we're going to take a second off here. With the first timeout of the game, Mike Franklin was able to call a timeout with both feet on the ground. That is a point of emphasis for us this season. If you want to call a timeout, you need to have your feet on the ground, and he did. We will be right back. 50-43 Mustangs lead. All right, back here live from the Lifetime Athletic Target Center. This is Dream League action, brought to you by Ultimate Hoops. 50-43 Mustangs been in the lead all game. They continue to be in the lead. Nice steal there by Troy Martin. He's going to give it up to DeJuan Grant, who's going to lay it in. I believe a 10-year younger DeJuan Grant would have dunked that basketball.
I'd say most definitely. And he's probably still wearing Filas.
Not today, though. Actually, I bet he could have dunked that in dress shoes. Would have been my guess. 5-point lead, sir. We have a game. You know what? I'm okay with that. Mike Franklin with authority to the hoop. He was not going to be stopped there. No way, no how. 52-45, 7-point lead for the Mustangs. Nice foul there being picked up by Troy Martin. Troy Martin is an underrated defender. Now, he gives up, he kind of plays some Olay defense here and there, but he's got some quick hands.
Well, we know it, like with this team mentality, Izzy's going to get the best out of his guys defensively. Peyton Dixon is like that. I mean, John Christensen's unbelievable. It's kind of a team mentality, and when your team is like that, it makes it easier to be a better defender.
That is the number one thing that I hear from our players. Number one is you need to hire better refs.
I don't know if you were watching yesterday or if you were on Twitter following anything, but the Pistons-Cavaliers game, you could not hear anything besides how bad the refs were and how much LeBron was getting, this and that. I think it's just kind of a consensus that all players hate all refs no matter what level you're playing at. So,
let me ask you a question. Nice hit by John Christensen. They now trim the lead down to 3. Could there be a more useless thing than the first round of the NBA playoffs? I mean, honestly.
I think like half of the games were decided by 26 points or more. It's completely absurd. You know who's going to win in the West with those 4 teams. The Clippers, Trailblazers is the only one that's a little bit intriguing. The East is the same way. I mean, it's especially when you got the NHL playoffs going on at the same time and all those games are close and high energy. It's pretty boring, but once it starts to pick up and get in the later rounds, I'll start watching.
Speaking of picking up, the Pilots' defense has picked up significantly here as the lead is now 3, 52-49, 10 minutes, 21 seconds here to go in the second half. Again, this is our 6:30 game tonight. Goal here is to do one of these a week and to slowly start adding some nice little bonus extras, whether that be multiple camera angles, instant replay live feeds eventually. No guarantees we'll get to that this season, but we will expand. So, again, this is week 13. first time we've done this. But we're going to be doing this a lot more. So 53-49, Keith's hits 1 of 2. 1 of 2. Again, this isn't the Griffins, who are shooting 40% from the free throw line this season. 53-49, 4-point lead, 10 minutes to go. DeJuan Grant with the point. Okay, let's quickly talk about the third game tonight, Knights versus Griffins. We talked a lot about it during the Dream League Insider podcast last week. You actually think the Griffins are going to win. Now, let me ask you this. Great D there by Curtis Hughes. Do you think they're going to win, or do you actually just want them to win? Because it's a big difference.
I'm not fully invested in the Griffins winning. It's kind of just going out of the limb. Maybe it's a bold pick to try to even up the records here. It's not like I don't know. It's a bold prediction. Like I said, I'm not that confident that the Knights or the Griffins are going to win, because picking against the Knights just usually doesn't work out. But I do think there are a lot of things that could go right for the Griffins. I think the way they're playing, the momentum, the drive that they have, because they have a lot more to play for than the Knights do. Not that the Knights are just going to take this team easily. I doubt that's what's going to happen, but they could possibly sneak up on them. Not sure if that's even possible with the guys the Knights have, especially like Travis Johnson. But I still believe the Griffins are going to come away with the victory.
I honestly, I'll be honest with you, and I'm not supposed to cheer, but it's going to be very difficult not to cheer for the Griffins as Mike Franklin hits a 3 there. But Mike Franklin's probably getting a makeup call there. But listen, the Knights are just too much. They're just too talented. I'm sorry. And listen, if Ross Winnikins comes out and plays the game of the season, top 5 performance of anybody in the Dream League all season, they absolutely have as good a chance as anyone to win. But I just don't see that happening tonight, so we'll see. And we're going to get a timeout here by the Mustangs. That's their second timeout, and we will be back in a moment. Back at it, 56-49. The Mustangs in the lead. They've been in the lead all night. 9 minutes to go here in the second half. 7-point lead. Oh, beautiful feed down there. And Drapko, one of the best cutters to the basket in the league, and he finishes. What are your thoughts on that?
That's just a beautiful play. You got to give Seth Yonker a lot of credit there, too. In the post, seeing a cut like that and throwing it across the lane to a congested lane to Joe Drapko, that's just a beautiful play. We don't see a lot of post playmakers, and Seth Yonker is one of the best in the league at doing that. Also, great finish by Drapko.
Mike Franklin now with the second 3, and I think as many possessions. Huge shot for him. Oh, nice defense there by Curtis and Casey. Dustin leads the point. They're going to lose it there, and they're going to get a foul there called on Mike Franklin. Big opportunity there for the Mustangs to put sort of an exclamation point on that defensive sequence. Unable to finish, though. And look at that. Ben Yelke in polar blue.
Looks good on him.
It does look good on him. Listen, I'm a fan of the orange, but polar blue fits him well. All right. Let me ask you a question. What do you believe has been the biggest trade for one team? And I have my answer, but I'm just saying, what trade has single-handedly helped one team the most?
When you first asked me that, I thought Keith Durham right away, just because they came in and went 2-0. But I'm going to have to say the Robleski and Greg Wells additions to the Griffins, because they've been 3-0 since. I think it was more addition of subtraction by getting rid of DeJuan Grant. He didn't fit in with that offense. It wasn't what they wanted to do. They get 2 quick, athletic guards to play this kind of run-and-gun transition game, and that's been the biggest difference in any trade made so far.
I agree. I just think that, again, I think he won the trade. And, I think both teams won the trade, but I think Casey won the trade more, which was laughable when the trade went down. Absolutely laughable. And Troy almost throws it away. It's going to be a big shot here by DeJuan Grant, and he misses off the front arm. Big rebound by Curtis Hughes there as the lead is now down to 8. What trade has ended up being the worst for a particular franchise? And I also have this answer as well.
Wow, that is interesting. I want to say possibly, even though now it's kind of working out for them, is that the Griffins getting rid of Johnny Ball, because I think now if he stays with the team, we're not sure how this all plays out. They could be 0-9 at this point or something like that. We're just not sure. But I think if you put him on this roster, which again probably wouldn't be possible because of the other trades they made, that would be very interesting. He could play kind of a faster game, and he could be a post presence, more of a scorer than Winnikins is. a decent defender too. I think he would fit very well with this Griffins team now if they use him correctly.
Nice finish there by Drapko. What about, listen, the Generals traded DeJuan Grant early, and now Bronson Burns been playing well for them, but they haven't really been able to click. That's one that also sticks out to me. But listen, right now, if the Griffins could have Johnny Ball back, oh boy, that'd be one heck of a team. So Casey Ehrenberg picks up the foul there. 6-point lead here for the Mustangs as Joe Drapko is going to go to the line to shoot 2. All right, Drapko with the first makes it. The lead is trimmed it now to 5 points. Glenn Fair, see those earrings? I'm pretty sure those are green emerald earrings. I'm pretty sure that he is wearing green earrings. So Glenn Fair subs into the game for Mike Franklin, I believe, as Joe Drapko shoots his second, makes his second. The lead is now down to 4. Dustin DuPont controls the point.
I have noticed now here with the Mustangs, he's not in the game right now, but Keith Crabbe has a very quiet second half after dominating a little bit in the first half.
Almost lost DuPont there in a switch. DuPont's got Martin pinned and he wants the ball. Glenn Fair's got other choices. He gets fouled on the ground. And the pickup is on, the foul is on DeJuan Grant. All right, DuPont will inbound the ball. Up 4, 6 minutes, 20 seconds to go here in the second half. Troy Martin also almost picked up another steal. Got away with a small slap there, I think. Oh, they are just playing very good D here. Very good pressure D.
Well, this is the kind of stuff that you expect out of the Pilots. I'm surprised that we didn't see it earlier in the game. I doubt it was a motivational issue, but Izzy's a good coach. He knows the game well. I'm sure he made a lot of halftime adjustments, and it's showing up as Seth Yonker got a nice block there.
All right, let's see if they're able to formulate anything on offense. Down 4, makes it down 1. They haven't been down 1 since, well, I don't think since ever. 59-58.
And I believe this is looking a lot like a game we saw last week, Reid. Am I wrong?
You're absolutely correct. Pilots were down by, I think, 13 at one point here. They were down almost 20 last week, came back. Here they are officially back in it, and with defense like this, how many first half points did the Mustangs score? It was 35 plus, wasn't it?
It was 40-31 at halftime.
40-31. So they have held them to 19 second half points here, and with the opportunity to take the lead, Joe Drapko controls the point. Ooh, almost to Steph Curry. He thought about it. Yonker drives, splits defense, finishes. Pilots lead. Now, we talked about how this game doesn't necessarily, quote unquote, matter for the playoff seedings, but how much does it matter if the Mustangs blow a 14-point lead? How much does that hurt their confidence?
I think that would definitely be just a shock to them. Really hits their confidence because this is a team that got blown out last time by the Pilots, a team they're going to match up with in the playoffs in all likelihood. And now to come out and have control of this game and then give it away would just be killer for them.
All right, Pilots with their first time out of the game. 40-59. Pilots lead, 4 minutes, 52 seconds. We'll be right back. All right, back here. Pilots lead 60-59. Up 1 here with 4 minutes, 52 seconds to go. Now we broke down John Coe's GM work earlier here. How do you think Izzy Elkaffas has done for the Pilots this season?
I've always been a fan of what Izzy's been doing. I like, one, just the kind of controversy he could bring to, just the way he talks. I mean, he's very honest with people. He's up front. He's not afraid to say what he feels. And he's like that with his players. And I think it works very well. He's not, BSing them at all. He knows what each of them can do. And he reflects that with how many minutes they play and what they do specifically for his team. So I think he's maybe not the best GM in the way he's drafted and made moves, although he did that very well, but one of the best coaches by far.
Yonker's going to have nightmares about that shot as well. Hit a wide open layup. Oh, beautiful feed from Keese to Dustin to Yonker. Now, if we had hockey assists, we'd give out 2 assists for that, but we don't, so we won't. 61-60 Mustangs retake the lead. Drapko with the Yonker screen, going to pull up from 18, going to miss it. Mike Flinken with the three, or with the rebound. You know, it's interesting. I actually, I'll answer a question that I asked you earlier. Who's their most valuable player? I think it's Franklin. You know, and I mean, coming into the season, I would have said, oh, Dustin DuPont, 100 times out of 100. But Franklin is a guy. We're going to get an illegal screen. So we're getting a. I'm not exactly sure what was called there, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm gonna trust Robbie. He was a former D1 ref, so I'm not exactly sure what was called, but he was convinced from the beginning that that's what it was, and that's what it was. So
I'm sure Mustangs players are saying ball don't lie after that one if they were upset with it, but I'm not even sure what was going on.
So what we have here, again, I'll make note of, I think, Mike Franklin's contributions to the team after he's short on this one. But honestly, he can do everything. You know, he can rebound, he can play defense. Okay, so we will not assess the instant replay here, but ball's gonna stay here. We're gonna go reset the shot clock to 26 seconds. Okay, inbound to Juman Davis. Juman controls the point here. Ooh, not a good possession there by the Mustangs. 3 minutes to go here, 61-60. The Pilots trail by 1. Drapko controls the point over to Troy Martin. All right, here we go. Crunch time. Shot clock comes into play here a lot. Drapko down low, and it falls up 1. Pilots up 1. 62-61. DuPont drives. Glenn Fair with the offensive rebound, and he puts it right back up and in, and the lead is now 1 for the Mustangs.
Interesting that the last 2 baskets here for the Mustangs have come up second chance opportunities. Pilots going a little bit smaller lineup without, Bobick in, but this is the crunch time lineup that they want to have out for sure. That kind of unproduction to get the rebounds there is going to hurt them late.
Okay, we had a turnover by John Christensen and then a subsequent foul by John Christensen. Juman Davis is going to go to the line here to shoot a 1-and-1. The opportunity to extend the lead to 3.
Davis is a very good free throw shooter. Of course.
As you say that, he misses short and right. So, Troy Martin controls the point here. Again, this is why I love having the shot clock. You can't just hold it for one shot. You can't just milk the clock if you're the Mustangs. DeJuan Grant with a long 3 buries it. Big shot there from Mr. Fila himself. 65-63. Minute 52 seconds to go here. Keith Crabbe controls the point. The Mustangs down 2. Glenn Fair's going to take it. Oh, nice pass down to Keith Crabbe, who's going to go up and picks up the foul. I'm fairly confident that if the Pilots bench were on this side, there would have been some yelling. Because I don't know if I would have called that necessarily. It's a little bit of body, but he did get all hand on the slap, and it doesn't matter. Keith misses the first.
Yeah, I mean, the free throw shooting is now going to be the biggest part of this game. We know the Pilots can do it. Yonker and Drapko are great free throw shooters. Mustangs need to convert.
Pilots have 2 timeouts remaining. Mustangs with 1, 65-64. Oh, beautiful steal there on the inbounds by Glenn Fair. Let's see if they can get a good possession here. And let's see if they can reset. Okay, DuPont up top. They're down 1. Dustin with the risky pass here. And Nice offensive rebound by Keith Crabbe. Puts up a second chance that was never going to go in. And we're going to get a body foul here on Joe Drapko. In most cases, off the offensive rebound, it's more recommended to pull it out instead of trying to put up the one-handed floater. But that's easy for me to say from the sideline.
Yeah, no, I think Keith is feeling it there, so I can't follow him too much. And now DuPont misses, and that's a huge, huge miss.
65-64. The Pilots up 1. Now the shot clock and the game clock, both very, very, very important here. 1 minute to go, 20 seconds here on the shot clock. Nice tight defense by Keith there. We're going to get a timeout here. Mustangs need to know that only on the held ball can you get a 5-second call. Again, great job there by Robbie Anderson. Trust his judgment above all else. 65-64, that was the Pilots' second timeout and a smart one. We're actually going to stick with you through here. A minute left, 13 seconds to go on the shot clock. What do the Pilots do coming out of the break?
Let's see. I got the ball here. You're just going to want to milk. Obviously, they got 13 seconds. You're going to want to get up a shot probably with 3 seconds or less here. And you're going to want to try to get it in the hands of Seth Yonker, probably in the post. Dribble up top with Troy Martin. Possibly bring Yonker out of the post and do a pick and roll. But I think your best bet would be to clear out, get Yonker in the post one-on-one with Glenn Fair and let him do his thing. Everyone has to be aware of how much time's on the shot clock and then be ready to get back on defense if the shot doesn't go in.
All right, Pilots again with a smart timeout there. They are down to 1 timeout remaining. The Mustangs also have 1. They also have a 1-point lead, 13 seconds on the shot clock. All right, here we go. Inbound to Drapko. He'll control the point. Under a minute to go here, 10 seconds to go on the shot clock. Let's see what the Pilots are able to put together here. Mustangs do not want to pick up a foul here. They're getting close. Oh, and Drapko with the offensive rebound, and we're going to get a foul call. I wonder, my initial thought was no need to put up a second shot, but he ended up getting fouled on it, so he's going to go to the line to shoot 2 here.
Yeah, a questionable decision there by Drapko, but in the moment you're just thinking I can get an easy basket. I thought that was a good contention there by Crabbe, but he'll get 2 shots here at the line. A very good free throw shooter as well, Drapko.
You know what the beautiful thing is we can go back and we can look at the instant replay. We can slow it down. We can zoom it in. We can do all sorts of fun stuff. And we'll determine from there whether or not it was a foul. It won't matter because by the time you're watching this, it's Wednesday afternoon. But, misses 1 of 2, 66-64. Mustangs down 2 here with the ball and 40 seconds to go. Glenfair down to Keith Crabbe. He turns over Martin. Oh, maybe got away with a slight foul. He did actually travel. And you know what? I honestly think he got away with a push-off. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, no, that was definitely an offensive foul. Either way, travel gives up the possession. I have no idea why Glenn Fair was bringing the ball up there in the first place, but bad possession there for the Mustangs.
All right, Glenn Fair picks up the foul here on Joe Drapko. He's going to go to the line for a 1-and-1. The lead is still just 2 points for the Pilots. Again, they were trailing this entire game. They come back late. They crawl back just like they did against the Knights last week. And this is, again, a huge confidence boost for them. Drapko to the line for 1. Misses the first. Oh, huge board by Dustin DuPont. Up to Mike Franklin. Mike Franklin with the foul. He's going to go to the line to shoot 2.
When was the last time a possession here didn't end with free throws being taken? I feel like it's been a while.
Well, the games are tightening up, or the defense is tightening up, which are obviously causing more free throws. So Franklin's going to shoot 2 here. Makes the first. Sorry about that. All right, a chance to tie the game here. We have yet to have overtime here in the Dream League. Misses the second. Oh, huge rebound by Juman Davis. And we're going to get a jump ball. Joe Drapko with an equally huge possession, or that play that forces the jump ball, and it's going to go to the Pilots. All right, Mustangs call their final timeout, 66-65. We will be right back with the final 22 seconds. All right, 66-65. The Pilots Pilots trail by 1, or excuse me, Pilots lead by 1, and the Pilots are going to inbound. Mustangs. Okay, I was under the impression that the Mustangs actually had 0 and the Pilots had 1, but I apologize. Pilots have 0, Mustangs have 1, and we're going to get a foul here on Glenn Fair. All right, he's going to go to the line for 2. 66-65. The lead is 1 for the Pilots. Shot clock is off. 21.8 seconds to go here in the game. And he makes the first.
I'll be interested to see now what the Mustangs want to do here. I'm always a fan of going for the quick 2, try to attack with Franklin or DuPont or someone, and have Davis and Ehrenberg on the outside stand on the perimeter for a possible open 3.
Well, and also, you got to realize teams are afraid to foul here at the end of the game on that quick 2. So generally speaking, it's an uncontested quick 2. All right, the lead is now up to 3, 68-65. We're going to stick with you here through this timeout break. This will be the final moments here of the game. The lead is now 3. Now, you believe that they should go and get the quick 2.
Yeah, I'm always a fan of that. I just think going for 3 is just too risky. You have a lot of time left, especially with the free throw shooting in this league. It's so sporadic. You're never sure who's going to make it in clutch situations. So I say you have Jumon Davis maybe stand out on the perimeter because he's your best shooter, and then you got to attack with Crabbe, attack with Franklin, or attack with DuPont, and just try to get a quick basket and then foul right away. Or go for the steal and then foul if you don't get that.
Well, and you could get an N1 possibility as well. So 68-65, 21.8 seconds to go here. Crabbe, DuPont, Fair, Davis, Franklin into the game for the Mustangs. All right, Crabbe with the point. He's going to get almost an uncontested there, but he gets blocked there by DeJuan Grant. Does your opinion change now that there's only 13 seconds?
No, especially on an inbound here, try to get an easy basket. If you can get something under the basket right away, do that, but I'd still go for 2 here.
All right, DuPont inbounds to Mike Franklin, 13 seconds here. Looks like they are going to continue to go for the quick 2. Oh, and he misses that one, which is unfortunate because he had a wide open look, wasn't able to finish with the left. Pilots now lead 3, 5.9 seconds to go in this game. And again, speaking of having dreams about a missed shot, you can have dreams about how open that shot was. But again, had to go up with the left, which is not easy, especially if you're right-handed, misses it. And we'll see if John Christensen can put away this game right now.
What we saw, Franklin had a pretty good look, and Crabbe as well had the open look, and then DeJuan Grant with the block on the putback attempts. So good defense there. But Mustangs definitely going to think about the missed chances and opportunities they had in this game.
All right, Ehrenberg's going to check back into the game for Jumon Davis, who does not appear to be happy to be subbed out. I'm got to notice those little things there. Was it worth him to take it out of the game, or to take him out of the game for a couple of seconds when? Ooh, that was a risky throw. That was a risky throw in there by John Christensen, but it wasn't enough. Dustin DuPont with the 2 late, 70-67. The Pilots moved to 8-3 on the season. The Mustangs down to 7-4. We're going to take a second here to see if we can chat with the Pilots general manager Izzy Elkaffas after he meets with his team. But for now, we will sign off. All right, everyone. You just watched the Pilots defeat the Mustangs 70-67. This was the Mustangs game. What happened late?
Pilots really revamped the defense in the second half, got way more pressure on the Mustangs ball carriers, just all around. Off-ball pressure, a lot of on-ball pressure, forced the Mustangs into some mistakes. And then late in the game, really, it came down to free throws. I just heard Glenn Ferry said if we make free throws, we win this game. It's that simple. They don't seem like they're too down about it. Like we said, the seed implications are there, but they don't mean too much. So I think the Mustangs, they want to win the game. We know that, but they can't look too down on themselves after this one. I don't know.
All right, so we had a chance to meet with Izzy Elkaffas, just talk about that win. Here's Izzy now. All right, Pilots general manager Izzy Elkaffas. You were losing that whole game, and you came back and win, just like last week. Talk about the win.
I don't know, 17?
I think it was 13 or 14.
Okay. Similar thing. We turned the ball over early. We didn't rebound. We were playing them all as if they were Steph Curry. just playing them really tight for no reason. You know, Seth noticed that whenever they're dribbling around and pulling jump shots, they're not making them. So why are we pressing up on them? And their dribble drive created a lot of issues for us because they were able to get offensive rebounds, and we weren't rotating well enough either. So it was just a complete mess. The second half, we kept control of the ball. We didn't turn the ball over, and we made sure that we did not put too much pressure on the ball handler. Contest without actually just being on the guy, and it helped a lot with the dribble drive. So we were able to stop the penetration, and in turn, we were able to actually get defensive rebounds.
Real quick, do you feel better about a potential first-round matchup with them now?
Yeah, I mean, they're always going to be a tough matchup for us because we're not the most athletic team, and they are. So it's good. I think we've beaten them twice now.
Yeah, you beat them by 20-plus last time.
So, I mean, I think Glenn and Seth, somebody was missing that game, but it's nice to get a chance to see them full strength, and I think after tonight it gives a better hope of definitely winning that series.
It's a great shirt. Where'd you get it?
I got it from Express. Do you want it?
I really like it, actually. Thank you. All right, that was Izzy Elkaffas. Again, the Pilots win. They go to 8-3. Again, the game didn't mean a ton. Again, it's more of a confidence thing. Any final thoughts for the Mustangs after they blow this lead late?
It could shake them a little bit, but I think they'll come back fine. Full strength, they're still a very dangerous team, and if this is a playoff series, you lose this one, you come back, you fight another week. I think in the long run they'll be fine. And after tonight's game, though, this does set up a very intriguing playoff matchup if this was to hold.
Thank you, Luke. Thank you, Itch Nation. We will see you next week.